All right, guys, in the next section here, I'm going to be answering a question that I've gotten a DM. This could have been a question that someone just sent to me directly in a DM. It could be a question that I got from one of my mentor clients, or it could be a question that I just saw floating around and I kind of wanted to address it in an open forum here on the podcast. So let me read the question out to you. So this came, who did this come from? Okay, yeah, this came from someone who owns a property in the Durham region. So it says, I've been left with a mess after a bad tenant left. The entire house smells like urine, and we've tried several ways to get rid of that. We've tried several ways to rid the house of that cat smell. We've tried vinegar, Obidon, and just plain baking soda, and it smells like an outhouse. It's disgusting. Any good suggestions would be welcomed. Okay, so obviously not a fun situation. Tenant turnover is never fun. So let me give you two perspectives on this question. One, I'm gonna give you a little perspective on what I would do like right now in the moment. And then two, I'm gonna give you some preemptive measures that I might have put in place before, or that you might put in place now to kind of avoid a situation like this. So the first thing I would do, listen, you're in for a renovation. It is what it is. I wish I could sugarcoat it. I wish it could be better, but you're gonna be in for a little bit of a renovation here. So first thing, rip up those floors. If it's carpet, rip it up. If it's old laminate, rip it up. And even if it's vinyl plank, it's probably at a state where it's seeped into it. I think your best bet would be rip it up. You can maybe save some money when you're redoing the floors if you put laminate in the bedrooms and to vinyl plank in like the kitchen, basement, and the areas that might get water. Save a little bit of money. But again, if it's a rental property, I'm a big fan of LVP. That's luxury vinyl plank. Put it all down, a little bit more money up front, but again, it will save you in the long run. Also, probably gonna get rid of your drywall here, at least the bottom quarter of the drywall. You know, if cats are spraying and peeing all over the place, it's probably going to seep into the drywall, and a fresh coat of paint might not cut it. So get ready to get into the drywall. Fresh coat of paint's going to come, and yes, you're going to be in for a renovation here. But this is actually what I would do. So before you get to this situation, like I feel like if we're asking this question, we've asked the question too late. So what I would do is kind of rewind. I want to rewind and focus on some of the preventative measures that I would have done. So the first thing, tenant screening. I would have screened those tenants. Now, I understand you can't screen out for pets, but again, there's some questions that you can ask to understand, one, if the tenant is a pet owner, and two, how they care for their pets. So questions like, how many pets do you have? Or what type of dog do you have? Again, we're not screening against these questions, but you can ask questions that open up a line of communication that you can make a decision if this tenant fits your property profile. If you need more questions like that, please send me a DM or leave something in the comments. I'd be happy to give you some more tenant screening questions there. Another thing that you want to do, when I tenant screen, I always do a previous property visit. So let's say I have a tenant coming in. They're coming into one of our new properties. I would say once like the screening's all done and they're ready to go, I like to actually sign the lease at the house that they're living. One, you can see how they live. Two, if there's any issues there, you can kind of point it out and bring those up in conversation. And three, you get an idea of the kind of tenant you're going to be. Anyone can come to a property with a nice suit, nice tie, freshly cut beard, shout out to my barber, and make sure that they look nice. But when you catch them in their actual residence, you get a different look at how they live, and you can make a real honest decision if this tenant is going to be the one that you want to put in your property. Second thing I want to do is property inspections. I know I talked about it a little bit earlier in my business update, but property inspections are so important. And I've learned in my short investing career that property inspections are more important than they might seem. I like to do 3 property inspections a year, and if there's any tenant issues, I automatically update it to 4. The reason why I do this, I want to keep eyes on my property. It's not that I want to invade the tenant space or I don't trust them, but I want to make sure the property that I've invested in keeps that condition as long as possible. Yes, there's going to be wear and tear. Yes, there's going to be a tenant damage. There might be a couple hole in the walls, couple paint scrapes, but again, that's all minor and cosmetic. But if you come in and you see 11 cats running around and they're peeing all over the place, that's a huge red flag and might be something you want to bring up with the landlord tenant board. But if you're not doing these property inspections until like way later, you're going to miss it out. And like 2 years later, when they go to evict, you're going to have a situation like this where all the floors are done, the drywall's done, and you almost have to gut the property simply because you didn't do property inspections. Now, I'm not saying they didn't do them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's important to make sure that you have routine property inspections to keep an eye on your property. And if there are issues like this, address it on the front end. Now, the last last thing I want to do is I want to highlight Single Key. So Single Key is a partner that I work with, and honestly, I love them. I'm not even trying to big them up. Like, these guys are great. I've tried all their products. I use all their products across my portfolio, so definitely check them out. I'll have a link for them below. But with Single Key, if you implement their rent guarantee program, not only are you guaranteeing your rents, which is, in my opinion, the biggest risk to landlords in Ontario, but it also comes with property damage coverage. You can get up to $10,000 for property damage coverage. What that means is, if you have this situation and the property is damaged, Single Key can actually help you reimburse you for those damages so that you can get your property back up to market, so you can rent it out and continue making money as an investor there. So definitely check out Single Key. They would be a huge help in this situation, not only to make sure that you're getting the best tenant in there, tenant screening wise, but also to protect you against any damage like this here. So again, great question. Just to recap, a couple things I would do: preventative measures, tenant screening, property inspections, and go check out Single Key. They'll help you out there.